Well, hello everybody. My name is Steve, and this is my new Sonic-related channel called Plenty of Rings. And on this channel, I'll be covering everything, both official and fan-related content on Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, this is sort of my first video on this channel, I suppose, and it's a discussion video of the Sonic movie, but please bear in mind that this was recorded before the Sonic movie trailer was released. So in this discussion, we won't actually be discussing Sonic's design, but we will be doing a discussion video on that in the near future separately, but that's for another day. So please bear in mind that today's video discussion was recorded prior to the movie trailer being released. Well, hello Sonic fans, how's it going? My name is Steve, welcome to Plenty of Rings. This is a brand new Sonic channel. How exciting is this? I guess to start off the channel, we're going to discuss, have a discussion video about the Sonic movie, and here with me to talk about the said movie, we have our very own Roman.
Hey everyone, welcome to Plenty of Rings, I'm Roman. You might know me
Roman.
from other things.
Yes, Roman has his own channel. You can talk about your
that's
channel.
you can catch me and Steve and a couple of other wacky people on Wasted One-Ups. You want to go check that out. But first, watch this, or listen to this.
Yeah, watch this. Okay, so yes, on this channel we're going to cover everything about Sonic, news, announcements, games, everything official and fan-related. It can be found on this channel. So first up, today we're going to discuss the Sonic movie, and the subject is, Roman, can we save the Sonic movie?
Okay.
So, don't answer that just...
Wait. Okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, we know what we're talking about.
Well, firstly, we're going to talk a little about ourselves. You're a Sonic fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how did you initially get into Sonic?
Sonic was my first video game ever. I got it on my birthday. Sonic 2. It came with the Sega Genesis. Or, I'm sorry, Sega Mega Drive?
Mega Drive, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, came with the Genesis, the real name of the Sega Mega Drive. So I played the game, I loved it. I mean, there was something about the character, and at the time there was also the Saturday morning cartoons and all this other stuff going on, a lot of merchandising, and I just fell in love with him in a completely hetero, platonic way.
Good.
I'm not a furry.
What's your favorite Sonic game?
Honestly, it's Sonic Mania.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Excellent. Well, I think I'm even more of a Sonic fan than you are. Would you agree?
Oh, God, yes.
Good. I first got into Sonic in 1992. After school, one day I went to a friend's house and he had a Sega Mega Drive, and he had Sonic 2, and he would play Sonic and I would play as Tails, and I just remember, I was obviously really shit at it, but I just remember being so overwhelmed by the colors, the characters, everything it was so revolutionary, and I was overwhelmed and inspired, and so I started drawing him, started creating fan fiction, all of this, and I wanted a Dreamcast for myself. I think I borrowed one from a friend for a while, but it was partially broken, so I was playing Sonic Adventure 2, but it had like broken music tracks. So you're playing as Sonic running through the city, and it's like, yeah, way past cool. But yeah, I'm a huge Sonic fan. So first, I'm going to just list out some details on the movie that we know already. This is what we know. Okay?
This is confirmed stuff, right?
This is confirmed stuff,
okay.
Yes. It's directed by Jeff Fowler. I looked him up. He hasn't done a lot of directing, but he's directed a film called Go for Broke, which was an animation from 2004. And I believe Go for Broke is a character that was originally part of the Looney Tunes squad. I've never heard of it before. It got okay ratings from the sounds of it, but it's a pretty kind of backbench film.
Right.
So, whatever. It's written by Patrick Casey and Josh Miller. Neither of those people have particularly reputable writing credit that I've personally seen or heard of. I don't know if you have heard of either of those
Nope.
people? James Marden's playing the role of Tom, and he's quite well known. He has been in X-Men. Did you see Anchorman 2?
Oh yeah. I did not care for it.
Okay, but he played Jack Lime in Anchorman 2. You know, the guy who's like, "Hey, Ron Burgundy." Yeah.
Him I liked. I actually did like his character. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, he seems to be a talented guy. He seems okay. Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman, which I struggle to picture in my head.
It's gonna be Count Olaf wearing a fat suit. I mean, come on.
Sure.
That's what it's gonna be.
I mean, I trust Jim Carrey. I like him as an actor. He's amazing. Very talented guy. Tika Sumpter. Don't know what character she's playing. She's playing an unknown character, but you haven't heard of her, right?
No.
So, have you seen the Netflix series Final Space?
No. That's not... Is that Netflix where you're from?
Yes.
Oh, here it's TBS.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's
but
on
I know what
Netflix.
you're talking about, yeah.
Okay. I've seen it. I've seen the whole series. It's amazing. I love it. Incredible original show. But she's one of the main voices of that show. So again, trustworthy talent. I don't know what character she plays, but she's in it. And then Ben Schwartz as Sonic.
Yes.
And we know him from Parks and Recreation, and most recently as Dewey Duck in DuckTales.
All right. He's got some voiceover cred then.
Yeah. So Have you seen the new DuckTales, or have you?
I have
heard
seen the first two episodes, which are very good. They're very well made.
Okay, so I'm actually going to play a sample to hear Dewey's voice a little bit. If you close your eyes and just picture Sonic speaking.
I've kind of been researching her on my own. A little. I mean, I just searched a forbidden library, Crash the Sun Chaser, talked to the goddess Celine. Okay. You know, hearing it out loud, it comes off way worse than it sounded in my brain.
So he's the blue one, right?
He's the blue one, yeah. That makes sense, I guess.
How big of a fan I am. He's a blue one, and he's on. Okay, yeah, I see what they did.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
see. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think he could pull off a good Sonic?
I mean, well, look, I like Ben Schwartz, I really do.
Right.
But that sounds a little too. I hope he adds some attitude to it, which he probably will, right? Like, we haven't heard what he's going to bring to it, but if they were to keep it like that, though, it sounds too like, oh, look at this family movie with the sweet, saccharine characters, and that's not Sonic. Sonic's in your face. Sonic should punch you in your face with his attitude, metaphorically speaking. You know what? He sounds more like a Tails.
Okay. A Tails with a broken voice.
Yeah.
An adult Tails.
He's an adult Tails. He's been through some hard times.
Okay, yes. Well, firstly, I wanted to ask you for your initial reaction of everything that we know about the Sonic movie.
Disappointment.
Okay.
In a word. Okay, Green. For example, just to give you like a little snippet of what I'm feeling. I saw the article. I was scrolling through Facebook, and it was like, oh, you know, the movie's accurate because it has Green Hill Zone.
Right.
And I was elated because I was like, oh, maybe they are doing this right. Like, I had a little bit of hope. I clicked on the link, and it's the town of Green Hill, population 1981. And I'm like, oh, God. Why did I hope? Why did I... That describes my whole thing with this movie, right? Like, I'm hopeful, and then I get my hopes up, and then it's gone. I click on something, and it's gone.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can quote me on this, and you can verify since the beginning that I've said this. I think the biggest mistake they're going to make is not getting Michael J. Fox as Sonic the Hedgehog and Christopher Lloyd as Dr. Robotnik.
I can't believe that Dr. Eggman is going to steal the time machine.
Shut up, you blue hedgehog menace! Like, it writes itself.
So now you have to ask me what's my initial reaction to the Sonic movie.
What was your initial reaction to the Sonic movie?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Roman. Absolute bullshit.
Okay. That's the show, folks. See?
I don't think there's any way that this can be a good film.
Okay.
I think it went downhill from the day it was announced that it was going to be partly CGI and live action.
Mm-hmm.
That, in my books, is just the worst decision you could ever make. And we started with that. We started with that information. And that created quite a lot of, a bit of an uproar in the Sonic community anyway. But the studio, the production company, that they've stuck by it. And they haven't changed it. And since then, it's just been weird news after weird news. And I don't see how this movie can be in any way decent.
Well, the other thing too is that it's I agree with you on the live action CG thing, but there's a caveat there.
Okay.
I agree that it's bad considering everything else they've done that's CGI live action, right?
Right.
But I was kind of hopeful that maybe they're going to try something different. Like maybe it could be kind of like a Captain N thing. Where, like a kid, or they get sucked up into our world and they have to figure out a way back or something. But the more you see, like the Green Hill thing, right? It's kind of implying that Sonic already exists in our world.
Right. Yes.
Which is confusing.
That's pretty much confirmed now.
That's how? How does that work? Obviously, when the movie comes out, we'll get the answers. But for now, I don't understand how you can exist in a world. There's a blue hedgehog running around.
It's such a bad idea to have Sonic in our world. Sonic deserves to be in his own world. He had his own world to begin with. And he's such an iconic character. He doesn't need to rely on human characters. And the reason that having humans is such a bad idea is because we are human beings. Any film that we watch that has human beings in it, we're automatically going to relate more to the human being. Mm-hmm. Okay? They did it with Sonic X. Hence why they introduced the character of Chris Thorndike. And his role was for all kids to relate to him more than anyone else. Because now that Sonic's in a world with this guy called Tom, the movie is no longer about Sonic. It's about Tom.
Right.
Tom is now the central character. So this movie should be called Tom the Police Cop.
So what is it with Sega doing? Because it's not even just the human aspect. It's Sega kind of has a track record of taking the focus off of Sonic.
Right.
Look no further than Sonic Forces. I mean, the one we don't talk about. The main focus there is the player-created character. And I get it, we can relate to this character that we created, but it's a Sonic game. Why would you want to focus on someone else? This leads me to my question, and I have an answer. I have a question and an answer.
Wow.
Welcome back to
impressed.
the Roman show where I ask my questions and I answer them. You know what? I'll get your answer first, and then I'll tell you what I think. So the question is Sonic even an interesting enough character to warrant his own movie?
He could be.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I agree with the caveat that we've seen it already. If you've ever read the Archie comics, or I guess where you're from, Fleetway.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, the Archie comics are superior, but
true that. Yeah.
We've seen it there. We've seen this amazing characterization. We've seen a lot of drama and high stakes. I mean, it started off as like a funny comic book, and it later on it turned into like this really epic, dramatic thing. And it's very enjoyable for all ages. It played right in the middle. It reminded me, and some people are probably going to crucify me for this. It reminded me of Batman the Animated Series. Yeah. Hear me out. Where it could deal with mature subject matter in a way that everyone could either relate to or enjoy. Right?
You're
like,
right.
Yeah, you've had issues where Sonic straight up dies, seemingly. So Sonic can be made into a good character. It's just, are they going to do that, or are they going to go for the cash grab of like, oh, look at these kids, they're gonna eat anything up. Let's just make a generic, happy look. Like I told you, I like James Marsden, I do, but he's the vanilla ice cream of actors.
Well, we saw Sonic in his own world as an interesting character in one of the very original cartoons from the early 90s. You know, the dark one with Sally Acorn and Robotropolis, I think it was called, I'm not sure. But
Jim Cummings.
Right, and his whole adventure trying to take back his homeland, and that was such an interesting concept. That was adapted for TV, sure, but I mean, you could easily focus on Sonic the same way, in my opinion, into a movie format.
Okay, Steve. So, I think we should do a thing here where we imagine.
Wait a minute, who's the host here? What's going on here? This is my show. What's going on?
You bring out the creativity in me, Steven. You bring out the creativity.
Great.
Hey,
I'm so glad.
Look, if you don't like it, you can just cut it out. That's the beauty of being the God Emperor of your own channel.
I just might.
You're gonna change it so you're gonna re-say what I said and change it to like you came up with it. So if you want to do this, we can. If you don't have to. But what if we were to imagine what the first meeting would be between Tom and Sonic, given all the information we have?
That's interesting, because I was actually going to ask you my next question, what were your predictions on the plot?
Okay.
So that very nicely transitions into that.
Let's both take a shot at it. You first. I want to hear what you have to say as the Sonic fan.
Well, obviously, because Tom's a cop, right? So Sonic's gonna do something wrong.
Okay.
He's gonna get into all sorts of trouble. Uh-oh. And Tom will have to track him down. Maybe Sonic outruns him, and Tom's all like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to go fast too. So he gets into his speedy police car. No, he's got a motorbike. He's got a police motorbike, and they're having like a speed chase, right? Oh my god, this Sonic guy is so fast. I'm gonna have to up my game. And someone's like, no, you're too slow. But I like the way you think. I'm Sonic. I'm Tom. Let's be best friends.
Oh, they're both speed demons. They just love it. And then Sonic's arrested for manslaughter later. Things go very south. No, I have an idea. It's not it's not very serious.
Go on.
Okay. So my first idea. All right. So Sonic is just a regular hedgehog living in a normal city. He doesn't have a lot of ambitions, and he's always getting into trouble. And, like, Tom is the cop who's always, like, arresting him or whatever.
Okay.
And I say this...
Like Yogi Bear, right?
Yeah. With Ranger... What the hell is his name? Ranger...
I don't know.
Smith or something. So, I'm thinking about this, too, because they originally wanted Paul Rudd. And this is the type of character I see Paul Rudd playing. Like, he always comes around, he's like, oh, Sonic, like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm sorry, Officer Tom. And they call him Tom because he's a friendly guy, Officer Tom. And then, until one day, he gets into way too much trouble. You have to do this community service in Dr. Ivo Robotnik's lab, or Kinzabar. Dr. Kinzabar's lab. And he's a jolly scientist. It's like, ho, ho, like, I'm so jolly and stuff. But when an experiment goes wrong... Oh no, the speed capacitor is overflowing. They both find themselves in a world of trouble. And then it's like it basically becomes a superhero movie where Sonic discovers he has speed. and he
perfect.
goes around, and Dr. Robotnik is now evil, and he becomes a villain trying
I think
to...
that's
What?
actually the plot of the Fleetway comics.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can get the rights to those. They're not tied up in anything.
It's in the Fleetway comics. It was Dr. Kinterber, and he was a nice guy, and he did like an experiment with Sonic, and it went wrong, and it exploded, and Sonic turned blue, and Dr. Kinterber turned evil and called himself Robotnik.
Nice. Well, that's what they'll use, and then Tom's going to be chasing him down till he learns it's Sonic. Then they're going to team up to stop the real bad guy, who's mining the resources because environmental message. And then my second idea was B story. Tom is engaged to a girl.
Okay.
No. He's not engaged. He's dating a girl, right? He wants to ask her to marry him. All right, but he's too shy, and he doesn't learn. Sonic teaches him about being way past cool and getting in your face. So finally,
Oh, it's so bad. I love it.
At the end, he's like, Sonic, what do I do? And he's like, you know what I always do? It involves rings. And he gives him a wedding ring that he found. Post-credit scene, we realize that his experiment went all the way out into the woods, and we see an echidna and a fox getting radiated with it. Boom. Sequel.
And then Tails' second tail just grows. End of movie.
It's like a really gross noise, too, like... At the very end, Robotnik's building something, and it's made out of metal, and we just see the silhouette, and it's fucking metal Sonic.
It's Samuel L. Jackson.
He made a metal Samuel L. Jackson.
I had an idea.
What is it?
That Dr. Robotnik would be in the Avengers.
It's like the video game Avengers. You'll get all the villains.
Oh, maybe, because they're making a Mario movie, aren't they?
Oh, maybe there'll be crossover.
Maybe it's going to be like a whole video game Avengers thing. My next question for you, Roman.
Go for it.
Do you think there is any possible way that this movie could be a success?
I'm glad you asked that, Stephen. And the answer is a timid yes.
Really?
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Despite everything we've been piling onto it, there is one X factor here that I think is important, and that's the fact that Tim Miller is producing it. I brought him up earlier, erroneously, but I did bring up Tim Miller. He's still producing. And that kind of got me thinking, like, I wonder if he's going to kind of do like a kid-friendly Deadpool kind of thing.
This just in, the Sonic movie has been rated R.
Hard R. In a world without law. Okay, now my question to you. I have a question for you. Do you think they'll incorporate the Chaos Emeralds in Supersonic this early?
No.
You don't?
Well, no.
All right.
No, I think as it's set in the real world, there's only like a certain amount of Sonic related gimmicks and things they can do. They can't go full out Sonic. They've limited themselves.
Yeah.
So things like Chaos Emeralds, Supersonic, I think it's unlikely. They might, but I think it's unlikely.
So this is a hypothetical I'm asking here, and it's highly unlikely. I think there's a better chance of a meteor hitting the planet than this. But let's say you see the movie, it comes out, it dominates the box office. It makes all the money, people love it, you love it. It's got like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. It's fantastic. They want to make more movies, and they decide we're going to make a shared universe. We're going to give each of the characters their own movies. We're going to go full Marvel with that. If the first movie is super good, would you support that?
No. Look, if by some miracle that this film turns out to be absolutely amazing, amazing reviews, and even I turned out to really enjoy it, I don't think that'll happen at all, but if, hypothetically speaking, I enjoyed this movie, it's still the wrong direction for Sonic. and it wouldn't be Sonic to me anymore. It would just be a good film.
Right.
And it would still be Tom the Police Cop, the movie. Here's one more question for you.
All right.
Okay, so we're both filmmakers, yeah?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, if you could call the things I make film.
I've got a master's in filmmaking, so I would consider myself a filmmaker. I know you've made films as well.
I've got a useless degree for acting, so yes, I'm an actor filmmaker.
There we go. So let's just say we're both filmmakers. If you were to make a Sonic movie, what would it be like?
If I were to make a Sonic movie...
This is to fulfill the title of the episode, by the way, because we haven't really talked about saving the Sonic movie, but now we are. We're about to save it.
So if I, 100% serious, if I were to make one, what would it be like?
Yeah. Yes.
It would straight up just be an adaptation of the Archie comics. It'd be fully CG. You get the celebrity cast if you want. Like, I would prefer Roger Craig Smith as Sonic. I think he does. And what's his name? Mike Pollock as Eggman. I would keep them. But if we had to go a different direction, I would pick someone with a little more star power, like Chris Pratt, to play Sonic.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great choice. He has the mix of humor and attitude. And then, I don't know, for Dr. Robotnik, Robert De Niro and fucking... No, you know who it would be? The choice is there already. I'm surprised I didn't see it. Danny DeVito would be Dr. Robotnik. It'd be all CG.
I'm trying to picture that.
and it would simply be an adaptation, of how... I guess you could put the origins of Dr. Robotnik or whatever, but to me, Sonic would already be there. We wouldn't need to discuss his origins. It wasn't super important in the comics. Right. He would already just exist, and maybe it would be like the founding of the Freedom Fighters.
Okay.
That's what it would be, and it would be all about stopping Robotnik from destroying the environment or whatever, because that's, at its core, that's what Sonic's always been. It's been about the environment. Dr. Robotnik wants to industrialize everything, and he wants to make everything in a robot. And Sonic, I read in an article one time, I don't know who wrote it, so I can't give them credit, but they said Sonic should be like a force of nature. He's what happens when Robotnik goes too far, and nature has to correct.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, that would be my Sonic movie, and we keep it light. It'd be in the same tone as the Lego movie. It'd be lighthearted but still action packed. And Big the Cat would die in it. Just
what a
brutal.
strange bit of detail. Hey Steve, if you were to make a Sonic movie, what would it be like? Thank you for asking. So, if I was to make a Sonic movie, I would, of course, keep him in his own world, establish the world first. I would keep it loosely based off the original games. Now, of course, the original games didn't have much story to them, other than, scientist goes crazy, entraps his friends into robots and tries to take over the world using Chaos Emeralds. That's more or less the base or the core of the plot for me. I would have a movie about Sonic, meeting Tails and the two of them having to try to get on. There's a friction between the two, but working together, they'll find that they're quite an unstoppable team. Trying to collect the Chaos Emeralds before Robotnik does. Ultimately saving their friends. There'll be other characters. There'll be a whole civilization. I'd make a whole movie based around Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where the first half is based on Sonic going back and forth between Angel Island, figuring out what Robotnik is doing, and then in the middle is the conflict at the end of Sonic 3, the game, where the Death Egg launches and Sonic falls. He hits his head, he has amnesia, he's forgotten everything, and the second half of the movie is that it's a race between him and Knuckles to reach the Hidden Palace first, to have access to the Chaos Emeralds, to find Robotnik first, and the conflict just kind of plays out by itself.
Now the important question about your movie, traditional hand-drawn animation or CG?
Interesting. I think CG, but it doesn't need to be full out CG. It can be quite simplistic. I'm not really sure. I always imagined it to be complete CGI, but I suppose we've seen how successful Sonic Mania Adventures has been.
Yeah.
With that simplistic 2D hand-drawn style. So maybe CGI with a kind of hand-drawn look about him, maybe?
I want the old school, the short hedgehog with the black eyes or brown eyes or whatever color his eyes were.
Yeah.
I just don't know. The new Sonic is a bit of a monstrosity, isn't he?
Yes.
The way he look, when you really stop and look at him, he's kind of a terrifying creature.
Yeah.
With his big gloved hands and he's lanky and
He looks very odd. And if you noticed during cutscenes of his games, he doesn't move his eyes.
No, he
His
doesn't.
eyes are always fixated on what's in front of him, and it's really scary.
I think it's because they don't know what to do with his eyes.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not a very characteristic guy anymore, is he?
No, and he has the mono eye. He has one. He has no in between his eyes anymore.
Right.
It's all open, so I don't think they know how to move his eyes, so they just keep it fixed in one place.
The Sonic Boom animated TV series and Sonic Mania Adventures, they dealt with that so well.
Yes.
They gave him character, and they gave him these amazing expressions. They made him relatable. And it's just a shame that Sonic Team can't seem to do that.
I think all the fans want, all anyone really wants, is like a Sonic adventure game. Focus on Sonic, put up the production value, but make it all about the running and the platforming. No werehogs, no Sonic's being tortured for 6 months or 3 months or whatever it was. None of that. Just make a good Sonic. Oh, that was going to be my question. Speaking of that, do you think Sega will just haphazardly release some kind of movie tie-in video game? Either DLC or a game. So we can have a Street Fighter, the movie, the game situation.
Oh, no.
Yes. I personally think they do. I think that's why they've been so quiet about a 3D Sonic game.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you have something new to look forward to.
Oh. Why'd you have to bring this down, Roman? We started out so well.
It's gonna
We
happen.
were positive. We were young back at the beginning of this video. We were full of hope and ambition. And then you brought it all down with your stupid movie tie-in game.
It's gonna be. Look, I want it said here so that in the future, when it gets announced and people are raging and they're like, I don't know where this came from. I want it said here on this format so someone can come back and link to this freaking video. There will be a Sonic the Movie video game tie-in. You mark my words, it's going to come out either on the day the movie comes out or a week before. It's going to happen.
It's all down to Takeshi Iizuka. That's for another video, though.
Yes.
My opinions on that particular man. To wrap up this video,
Yes.
I wanted to quickly give a shout out because I went. I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and I was just kind of strolling along and I saw a poster for a stand-up comedian. Her name's Suze Kempner and she does a stand-up routine for a whole hour talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh.
And I went to see it and it was great. She talks about. She's a comedian. And she talks about how she got into Sonic and how Sonic has affected her life. And she's currently trying to collect all of the Chaos Emeralds in her life to be satisfied with how she is as an adult in comparison to who she was as a kid. And it's beautiful and it's funny as well. There were plenty of in-jokes, but not so in-jokes that people who didn't know Sonic could understand it as well. She's amazing. Her Twitter username is @SuzUK.
@SuzUK.
SOOZ
That's easy to remember. OOZ UK. Check it out, folks. It sounds funny. I'd like to see it, but I don't live over there.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I think I'll follow her too, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got one last question for you before we wrap it up here.
Go on.
Sally or Amy?
Wait a minute. Now,
Are you a Son Amy?
In terms of
who Sonic should end up with? Jesus, what do you think I'm saying?
Oh, I see. I don't know. Sally's got more. She's way cooler.
mean, yeah, she's more fierce and independent. And
But Amy's cute.
I,
And there's there's a comical love-hate relationship between Sonic and Amy. Sonic needs to have his own me time, you know?
yeah,
He's got to work on himself right now. Thanks so much for joining me, Roman, in this lovely discussion video. Thank you to our audience, if there are any, for listening in.
Well,
me and Roman.
Can I get one last shameless plug in?
Okay.
Once again, guys, if you want to catch more of us, watch Wasted One-Ups.
No,
Don't do it! Watch Wasted One-Ups. We'll be uploading some new videos soon. They're going to be great. I mean, the old ones are great. Yeah, catch us on Wasted One-Ups. And until next time, Steve, back to you.
Back to you.
Back to you.
Ooh, touche. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right,
Plenty
take care.
Rings out. Bye-bye.